Everybody, and welcome to the bonus interview section. Let's start with the kind of like the in-game stuff. I will be quiet throughout the entirety of these. This is probably the last you'll hear of me for the rest of this episode, for the rest of the bit. So, enjoy.
Good evening. This is Francesca Sabatini reporting for IBC from the IS-8 training facilities, where the Newton astronauts are undergoing their final tests for the historic rendezvous with the gigantic extraterrestrial spaceship called Rama. Tonight and for the next 2 nights, I'll focus on the other extraordinary men and women who will represent mankind on this landmark mission. First, among the Newton astronauts are 2 of the world's top research scientists, Dr. David Brown and Dr. Shigeru Takagishi. These men have spent their entire careers trying to understand how life and intelligence developed on Earth, and what that paradigm might mean for the nature of alien life forms.
How many people know where they really came from? Does the public actually understand that the iron, magnesium, and other heavier elements in their body were created in the death throes of stars billions of years ago? Every living thing on Earth owes its existence both to the presence of those heavier elements in the Earth's nebula at the time of its formation and to the remarkable evolutionary process that produced us. When people ask me if I expect to meet aliens that look like little green men, I usually laugh. If we encounter any aliens, they will certainly be far more fantastic than our wildest imaginings. And the chances that they will resemble us in any way are exceedingly remote. In the billions of galaxies in our universe, I believe that chemicals like us have evolved to consciousness on many planets. But only here on planet Earth do we know for certain that those chemicals are aware of themselves and can ask questions about their origin and destiny. To encounter another being at the same or more advanced level of sentience will be the single most important event of human history.
Dr. Brown's research area is chemical evolution, so it's natural for him to view life as nothing more than the gaudy result of chemical reactions. Dr. Takagishi, on the other hand, takes a distinctly anthropological approach to alien life forms.
We are about to interact with a civilization that has existed millions of years longer than we have. Please think about what this means. It doesn't matter, as I have told astronaut Heilman, if the Ramans are friendly or hostile. They are so far ahead of us that any resistance to them will be futile. If their technology can build, launch, and operate an interstellar spaceship the size of our largest cities, how can we presume that our puny capabilities could stop them from doing whatever they choose? Personally, I am completely certain that the Ramans will be friendly.
Doctors Brown and Takagishi, like the rest of the astronaut crew, know full well the heavy responsibility they carry. For IBC, this is Francesca Sabatini at the Newton Training Facility. Good evening, and welcome back to the ISA Astronaut Training Facilities. Tonight, I talk to the 3 career space officers who will travel with the Newton mission when it investigates Rama early next year. Well, the Newton astronauts will carry 2 versions of this uniform up to Rama. One model, which I'm not wearing tonight, will fit over our spacesuits for use in physically hostile environments. The other, this one, will wear inside the Newton and in other benign locations. The most important feature of the uniform and our most important piece of equipment is the ARM computer. Also a communications device, we'll use it to transmit and receive vidmail messages from the other astronauts. And one of those other astronauts is Richard Wakefield. Wakefield is a quintessential systems engineer. He has no peer in the astronaut corps. Richard, can you explain for us non-technological people just what is a systems engineer?
Suppose an engineering team were given the task of designing a human being. Now, undoubtedly, they would employ specialists to create such complex subsystems as the heart, the brain, the liver, etc. But someone would have to ensure that the total person could function, that each of the parts could be integrated and together produce a working human being. That's the systems engineer's job.
Thank you, Richard. We know how busy you are, and we appreciate your taking the time to talk with us. Working with Richard Wakefield...
Excuse me, Francesca, but I believe I have another function on this project, one that may be of even greater importance than my nominal tasks.
And that is?
It's clear we are going to encounter some absolutely mind-boggling technology. Technology that, for all intents and purposes, is indistinguishable from magic. I can't wait to see this engineering magic firsthand and attempt to figure out how it works, what it means, and what it says about the intelligence that created it. Yes, well, that's it, I guess.
Thank you, Richard. Richard's two ISA colleagues are both women. Engineering specialist Irina Turgenev and Chief Medical Officer Nicole Desjardins. Yesterday, astronaut Turgenev had just finished testing the new flight rover when I caught up with her. She once said that she was married to the ISA and had no time or desire for any other life.
Sometimes, after a mission, I return home to Kiev to visit my parents. I look around and I wonder if I have missed something important. I have no husband, no children, no life outside the ISA. My work is my life. It has been worth it, though. I have seen the fury of dust storms on Mars. I have seen the glory of the Earth rise from the moon and a fiery volcano on Io from a distance of only 10 kilometers. And now I am to be part of the most important mission humans have ever undertaken. I admit I am frightened about what we may find, but I wouldn't trade my position with any other woman in the world.
I've just been informed that Dr. Desjardins is now available to talk to us. Good evening, Nicole. Can you tell us what you've been doing today?
Certainly, Francesca. I've just finished a series of tests on the new robotic surgical equipment that we'll be taking with us on the Newton. As you know, since I'm the only doctor on the crew, computers and robots must be my assistants in any complicated procedure.
Is everything working correctly?
Not yet, but that's normal. We still have several more months to iron out the bugs.
Nicole, are you at all worried about the medical equipment being ready by flight time?
Not at all. My concern, Francesca, is that we may have a major medical emergency while we're exploring Rama. That would obviously present challenges. Due to weight restrictions, we can only carry limited amounts of diagnostic equipment. And while our robotic support is excellent, some of the newest devices haven't been exhaustively field tested.
Do you anticipate excessive levels of stress due to the unusual nature and high profile of this project?
My primary psychological concern has always been using an inexperienced crew on a long-duration mission. Career astronauts like Turgenev and Wakefield are low risk in any kind of space mission. They've performed in similar situations throughout their entire careers. It's the 5 neophytes who worry me.
Well, as one of those neophytes who has been training for over 2 years now, let me ask you what it would take to alleviate your concerns.
Please forgive me, Francesca. It's my duty to worry about the what-ifs. You and Reggie Wilson and the scientists will try to understand and interpret what you find at Rama. My primary task is simpler. Reduce the probability of untoward health events to the lowest possible level. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must...
Of course, Dr. Desjardins. Well, that wraps up our show for tonight. I hope that you'll be back with us tomorrow evening for our final segment on the crew of the Newton. Until then, for IBC, this is Francesca Sabatini. Good evening. This is Francesca Sabatini once again at ISA Training Headquarters. Tonight, I'm joined in our studios by my fellow journalist astronaut on the Newton mission, Reggie Wilson. First, we'll speak with Admiral Otto Heilmann, security chief for the Newton mission, who is currently at his home in Berlin. Then, our guest will be General Michael O'Toole, the military man whose entire career has been spent negotiating peace instead of waging war. Good evening, Admiral Heilmann.
Actually, it is already good morning here in Berlin.
Many people have asked me why we have such a strong military presence on the Newton mission. Are we really worried that Rama represents some kind of a threat?
Francesca, although we haven't seen any hostile or threatening behavior from Rama to date, I believe that its mere existence ought to frighten every human on this planet. Whatever the Raman's intentions, they have technological capabilities far beyond our own. They have built a city-sized spacecraft and dispatched it across the stars. Their military potential is absolutely staggering.
Then you don't agree with Dr. Takagishi's belief that a species so advanced couldn't be hostile?
As a security specialist, I would not need much indication that Rama was hostile to justify destroying it completely.
Thank you for your time, Otto. Reggie and I will see you next week at the Florida Spaceport.
Hello there, General. How are things in sunny Italy?
It wasn't so sunny today, Reggie. In fact, I got a little wet waiting in line at the monument of St. Michael of Siena.
Ciao, General O'Toole. This is Francesca. I just received a report that you spent most of the morning in a private audience with the Pope. Is this true? And if so, what did you and His Holiness talk about?
Most of it wouldn't be of interest to the general public. Fine points of church doctrine. We did discuss some more general religious issues, however. For example, if there are intelligent extraterrestrials, have they too fallen from God's grace? Do they need Jesus or the equivalent to redeem them? And if so, is the Christ paradigm repeated on every world where there's intelligence? And if not, why do some species require redemption and others don't?
It seems natural that these spiritual questions would travel with us in space. Thanks for staying up late to join us, General O'Toole. And thank you, Regman, for stopping by tonight. That completes this brief look at the Newton astronauts. Sometime next year, this group of Earthlings, myself included, will represent our species in the first direct contact with alien intelligence, somewhere inside the extraterrestrial spaceship known as Rama. For IBC, this is Francesca Sabatini. Good night.